What it do, family? It's Sagi back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about anxiety. So this is something that I've dealt with for a huge portion of my life, but now it's kind of just whittled down into worry, and worry that I'm trying to get rid of. The reason I'm making this video is because I know there's a lot of people out there struggling with anxiety that are talking to people that haven't ever dealt with it and don't know how to overcome it because they feel like they're the only ones dealing with it. So let me tell you my story and then I'll tell you what I did to get over a lot of the anxiety. This started out when I was about 16. From my sophomore year all the way till I was like 19 years old. And I was like 15 as a sophomore. So for 4 years out of my life, I dealt with extreme anxiety. Extreme. To the point where I went to the emergency room thinking I was having a heart attack at least 3 times. And when I tell you it was the most annoying, angering, retarded feeling I've ever felt, because it's like I thought I was gonna die. I thought I was gonna die with all my heart, where I was like, I need to go now. And I was almost hoping they would tell me there was something wrong with me so I'd be right. But it was like, yo, everything is completely fine. That was just my mind fucking playing tricks on me. I'll tell you my exact symptoms: heart palpitations. I felt like a little pain in my arm, and then I felt my lips tingling, and I couldn't catch my breath to save my life. So it felt like an asthma attack and a heart attack had a baby. And I was just like, bro, I gotta be dying. This has to be death. So I go tell my parents, and the first time they're like, "Oh my God, what's wrong? Oh, are you okay?" And then they take me to the emergency room, and nothing's wrong. Nothing at all is wrong. So they sent me home. I think they gave me a little Xanax or something. So I was chill, and I was just like extremely embarrassed. Damn, how do I overcome this? Every single day of my junior year, I oh my God. Every single day of my junior year, I would literally just be in class, like focusing on my breath as much as I could because I used to breathe automatically. And now I felt like I had to be aware of my breath because if I didn't take a breath, I would die. That was the feeling and the thought I had in my mind. Terrible. It was a terrible mind state to be in. On top of that, I was depressed and lonely. So it's like, how do the two even make sense? Paired together, anxiety and depression. Anxiety is being afraid of death. Depression is wanting to die. I had like their baby. It was so dumb. It was so dumb. I hated it so much. So after 4 years, I finally conquered it, and I know the steps to take when you're feeling that way that you're feeling. And I'm gonna have to share some harsh truths with y'all as well. So anxiety is one of those things where you're afraid of death. Of course, the quickest way to deal with it is to come to terms with death, to really think about it. Like, if I were to die today, and be okay with it. That was one of the tougher ones I had to have, and that was later. So that was maybe the third, fourth year where I was just like lying in bed, like, okay, if this is the last day I live, I'll be okay. I'm ready to see the other side. I'm no longer gonna worry about dying and start living. But that's later. I know that's gonna be a hard conversation to have. Don't push it off, but also be aware that that's a conversation that you're gonna have to have with yourself. The things I started doing on a daily basis that very much helped: one, gratitude. Gratitude, write 3 things you're grateful for. When you're grateful, you can't be anxious. It's like a certain part of your mind. So, like, it takes up the same space. If you're going to be grateful, you're not going to be anxious. If you're going to be anxious, you're not going to be grateful. So, anytime you have these thoughts, think about what you're grateful for. I'm grateful for this beautiful room that I'm in. I'm grateful that I have 2 loving parents. I'm grateful that I'm breathing this breath right now. I'm grateful that I'm alive to live out my dreams and chase my opportunities. Practice gratitude. Write it down. Journal your gratitude. Now, another thing, journaling. Write down your thoughts, your feelings. I started journaling so much, and It felt like I was putting my thoughts in a file cabinet. And when I tell you that got rid of so much of the stress and weight that was on my shoulders, I felt so much better after just like it started off as like 5 minutes of writing. But then I would have my days where it would just be like, I'm alone. I'm not going to go on Instagram because Instagram, you doom scroll enough, you're going to see a couple of deaths. And you're just going to be like, did that guy just die? Okay, now I'm reminded of my own mortality. Or you're just going to start judging. And when you start judging, you start getting into a negative state again. So just try and stay off Instagram for a day, and then try and stay away from the TV, try and stay away from the news because the news is always, oh, is World War III going to happen? Are we going into a recession? It's just the propaganda to get you worried, and you're just going to file into their system of like, when you're worried, you don't really have free will and control over yourself. You're very easy to control, and I feel like that's what the higher ups want you to kind of feel. So you kind of got to get rid of that. Journal. Journal your thoughts and feelings. If you don't feel good, if you feel terrible, write down exactly what you're feeling. Come to terms with it. Okay, I'm feeling this. Write down the facts of what it is. Write down the facts of what may have caused it. And then see what the worst case scenario is. Every time it leads to death, you lead it to death. Like, oh, this is going to happen, then this is going to happen, then this is going to happen, then I'm going to be all alone, and then I'm going to die. You don't want to feel that way. And I know that personally because I don't want to feel that way. Once you start practicing gratitude, there's an app I use, Headspace. When I was in the midst of it, I would do 2 10-minute Headspace sessions a day. When I was feeling my anxiety and when I felt like I couldn't catch my breath, I would consistently try and meditate at that time. I was at an electrician school at the time where I literally excused myself and they had a small room where I could go ahead and, sit down. It was supposed to be like, imagine this room, but it was only the stud posts up, and then there was like pipes, and then there was wiring. It was supposed to be where you're supposed to practice your wiring and connecting receptacles and whatnot. I would literally go there, sit on the floor, play my headspace, and just meditate. Focus on my breath. What I was taught through that app was look at your thoughts as clouds in the sky. If you could look at your thoughts as clouds in the sky, and some days it might be super cloudy, some days you might not be able to see the blue in the sky, but you kind of just gotta breathe through it and let the clouds pass, because the clouds will always pass. This too shall pass. Some days it might be raining. Some days you might feel like you're going down these loops of repetitive thoughts and they're just getting worse and worse and worse. You gotta stop yourself. If you need to, bite into a lemon. If you bite into a lemon, that'll ground you instantly. Some days it's just you're inside for way too long. You've been stuck in what we've built. You're not around any greenery. You don't feel good. Go to a park. Go sit under a tree. Go lay down under a tree and just look up at that tree. Look up at that tree for 30 minutes. Just lay down there. You'll notice you feel instantly better. Don't touch your phone. Get out of the space where you always need to be scrolling on the phone. Get out of that space where you always need to be distracted by something. Because if you keep trying to distract yourself by something, you're gonna continually fall back into it as soon as you're not distracted anymore. So you're gonna have that thought occur and then you're not gonna know how to handle it. And the way you cope with it right now, it might be I'm gonna scroll on my phone, I'm gonna play some video games, I'm gonna watch some porn, I'm gonna do whatever I'm gonna do. Cause that's the way I used to cope with it. And that was I noticed it would just build it up. It was just like I wouldn't feel it, but in my mind it was going like this. So yeah, that's what you want to do, man. Or woman. Anxiety attack. One, bite a lemon. That's gonna instantly ground you. The citrus is gonna it's gonna bring you back to earth. Two, take a cold shower. That's instantly gonna just cool you down. It's gonna take you out of it. It's gonna get you breathing deep, and then you're gonna be like, oh, snap out of it a little bit. Three, Go outside, touch some grass, ground yourself, look at a tree, look at the sky. Do what you could to get out of the environment you're in at this moment where you're having it. 4, go for a walk. Try and get out in nature as best as you could. Try and get fresh air as best as you could. And I promise you it's going to get better. But that's it. I love y'all. Bye.